Welcome to The Brain Changers, a podcast about learning how to revolutionize the way you think and live by mastering your mind. We're your hosts, mother and daughter duo Rebekah and Yvonne King from Moonbeam Monday. Our goal is to empower you to live the life you choose by teaching you how to retrain your brain. Some people tell us it sounds like mind control, and it is, but not the way you might think. This is about you taking control of your own mind rather than letting your mind control you, so you can choose to live a life free from the expectations of others. No matter what you've experienced in the past, you can create positive change and transformation by learning how to master your mind. We know this because we've done it. Between us, we've survived cancer and stroke and eliminated debilitating anxiety and depression. We've turned our pain into purpose through the power of our mind, and we're now here to support and guide you to do the same. In this podcast, we share valuable insights about how your brain works, why you think, say, and do the things you do, how to begin the process of change, and why it's necessary. Because we know that when you change your mind, you change your life. Thanks for joining us. Let's go. Hello and welcome back to The Brain Changers, the podcast where we explore what it really takes to change your life from the inside out by rewiring your thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors. Now, today I am very, very excited to invite a very dear friend of mine onto the podcast, Irene McGrath, who is the founder of Free Your Spirit and works as an energy wellness specialist, Reiki master, and energy healer. She's also an author, a speaker, and an award winner. And I'll tell you about that in a moment. Now, Irene really has a gift for making the unseen feel practical and accessible. She helps people recognize when their energy is being drained, understand why it happens, and develop grounded practices to protect and restore themselves. Her work is all about helping people feel strong, centered, and free to live with more balance. And as I mentioned before, Irene was recently awarded second place in the Small Business of the Year category of the Women Changing the World Awards, which is an absolute credit to you, Irene. This is a world recognized award. I would like to welcome you today. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Beck. I feel so honored to be here. What a beautiful introduction.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, look, you know how I feel about you. And just to give everybody a little bit of background before we jump into things, Irene is a very dear friend of mine, but I found we've become friends
Yes.
from me actually seeing you. You're my practitioner, you're my energy healer, Reiki healer. So I've been working with you for a couple of years now, I think. And we've had some absolutely incredible sessions together. I've done my Reiki 1 attunement with you. You've taught me so much about energy, about healing, about mindfulness. And I just love every moment that I get to spend with you. So I'm very happy to have you here today as well.
Yeah, thank you. And likewise, um it's lovely to have met you a few years ago. And yeah, you become a wonderful friend of mine as well. And I love everything that you do and what you're about as well, Beck.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, we'll stop all the love on each other. We'll actually,
Love bombing.
that's right, love bombing on the podcast. But look, Irene, let's perhaps kick off. Can you just share a little bit about your journey, what actually led you into energy healing? Because this is not something that you've done your whole life, and perhaps, how that brought you to founding Free Your Spirit.
Yeah, sure. So that's right. This was not in my path of my visual path in the last, 15 years. Basically, for me, I wanted to work on myself really, and I was looking at myself and what I found were my strong points, what weren't my strong points, things that I had gone through. I'd gone through a divorce, I had three young children. I had to go into the workforce, all of those sorts of things. So I really started to look at myself and what was my future going to look like? What did I want for my future? Not ever having an energy healing session myself until one day, years ago, I had an energy healing session, a Reiki session, and I guess that was the catalyst for where I am today because that opened me up to something I can't even describe really, except I've opened up my business. I have grown my business from something offering just one modality to so much more. And my business has been running for 8 years now, for just over 8 years. And I love it more and more every single year. And creating Free Your Spirit was um, not only was it oh, I can do this kind of a moment, a bit of a challenge for myself to
Yeah.
okay, um, again, putting things into practice for myself. But it was about thinking, what do I want? What would I want if I was to go somewhere to speak to someone? Um, what sort of a space do I want to create for people to feel safe,
Mhm.
comfortable, not being judged, feel loved and supported, and be able to go at their own pace and identifying what they need to help them for where they're at, because everyone comes in a different place in their lives
Yeah.
and gone through a different life. So it's about being able to tailor what my client needs to give them the best result. And I'm not healing them, so to speak, but I'm giving them the pathway, the opportunity, the tools, the space, and the knowledge to help guide them in the way that they need to for what they want.
Yes.
So it's about creating that space where as soon as they come in, and I know you know this, you feel completely safe in here. And that was the main thing. I wanted to create this um, for whoever that was for, and to just be myself in it,
A
and I
really
feel,
important part, isn't it?
yeah, I feel like I've gone through my own journey. I've experienced lots of things, lots of great times, lots of not great times, lots of health issues in my particular journey. And I understood that pretty quickly once I started why I have to go through certain things myself. It's not even really for me. It's for me to go through, to work through it, to understand it, to be able to offer then support for someone else coming in with a similar, same kind of a situation.
That's exactly right, isn't it? Because we all experience things, and in fact, a lot of us experience similar things, but depending on what we've been through before, our upbringing, our previous experiences, we're all different in the way that we react or respond to things. And so we can have a lot of empathy and compassion and understanding for what somebody else has been through, even if it's the same thing we're talking about. There will have been some differences, but like you said, you're able to guide people because you've had that experience. And I think that makes the experience richer for them. And you're right, you provide a very safe space in that very room that you're in right now. There's some incredible things that happen in that room.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah, there's lots of things that happen.
and the ability to actually be able to talk about anything. There's obviously sometimes it's emotional, sometimes there's a lot of laughing.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you don't feel as much as other times, but that's what you have created is a beautiful, safe space for people to come and be guided by you. And I guess on that, because we're talking about energy healing, we're talking about Reiki. Some people may not actually know what Reiki is or what we mean when we talk about energy healing. Are you able to just give us a brief explanation on
Yeah,
that?
as best as I can.
Yeah.
Um, so Reiki comes from the Japanese culture and tradition many, many years ago. And what Reiki is, basically me being a Reiki master, I am a channel, a vessel. So I am able to connect with the universal energy. So we all know that there's energy around us. Okay. We're made up of matter and energy. So I'm able to channel that energy in through me, passing it through my hands. And that energy has its intelligence of its own. That's what's so special and so strange and mysterious about it. And that energy is what I work with to work through the client's physical body, energetic body, to start to shift some of those blocks that are within them. Start to break some of that stagnant, stuck, dark, tired energy.
Mm.
Um, I guess I can use the explanation of, the sieve, when we look at if we've got a sieve that we put pasta in and then we put water and we watch the water flow through.
Hmm.
So we can look at ourselves, our body like a sieve.
Hmm.
Now, if we've got blocked, stuck, fearful, stagnant energy within us and around us, if we look at that, the sieve being our physical body, and we pour water in it, but the water doesn't come through because it's all blocked.
Mm.
So that's how you can kind of, if you don't have an idea or you haven't had, you don't have knowledge on energy healing and that is a good way to kind of think, okay, so that's my physical body. If it's blocked, then it's that flow can't go through. Like you're stuck. You're
Yeah.
literally stuck there. And
Yeah.
how do we become blocked and stuck? Well, it comes from all those years of, from childhood, yes, growing up, um, things that we've been told that we can't do, we shouldn't, we are not this person, trauma, negative influences from TV, socially, all over the place.
Yeah.
We start to build barriers of this stuck, heavy, blocked energy with which then we can't flow the way we're meant to.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
That kind of describes what energy, what the Reiki does. It actually, that connection of that flow of tapping into that universal energy is what helps start to unblock, create space for the individual.
yes, I think you've explained that really well. I love your analogy of the sieve, and I'm just imagining the pasta because when you do put pasta in a sieve, it does kind of leave a bit of a film in there, doesn't it? It does
Yeah,
kind of block things a little bit.
yeah,
And so if you were to then do it again and again and again, just like those things you were talking about, we're told things over and over again. We inherit the beliefs and the
yeah,
values of the people that raise us or the people that we spend the most time with. So it's all of those things that's like this
yeah,
residue that the pastor is leaving in the sieve.
yeah,
So it doesn't mean that none of the water gets through or none
yeah,
of the energy in the terms that you're talking, but it's harder for it to get through. And so
yeah,
you can imagine when you actually get a high pressured hose and you blast all of that pasta residue out of the sieve, it makes it easier for the water to flow. And
right.
I know from my experience, I often leave feeling lighter. Sometimes it's a sense of, relief like that. Oh, I can breathe again. Something's shifted. And sometimes it takes a couple of days for that to
Right.
happen. Everybody's different.
Yeah.
Uh, but there's a sense of flow again. And I remember that from the very first time, I came to your retreat. I'd never had a Reiki
That's
session
right.
before.
Yes.
And you did just 10 or 15 minutes, and I was able to visualize this beautiful spinning sunflower in my abdomen. And because a lot of this is about visualization as well. And I
Yes.
could visualize it spinning around and sort of getting things moving again in
Yeah.
layman terms.
Yeah.
And so I think you've explained that really well. And talking about energy, of course, one of the main reasons I wanted to invite you on today was to talk about protecting this energy that we have. Of course, we are energy. We are all energy is around us. And I think we can all relate to the energy that other people give off. Now, I'm the first one to always say we are responsible for how we feel. No one can make you feel a certain way. That's your choice to take on a certain emotion or react in a certain way. With that being said, however, we all bring an energy. So
Yeah.
we've all experienced a time, perhaps we've walked into the office and it's
Mhm.
like, oh, wow,
Yeah, you feel it.
somebody is in a bad mood, or there's just it's really hard to explain, isn't it? But I'm sure everybody listening can go, yeah, I
Yeah.
felt that.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about protecting your energy, it can sound pretty abstract, but how would you describe this in simple, practical terms?
So protecting your energy, the first thing I think is understanding how valuable your energy is.
Mm,
And you, like you said very well, we don't know what other people are carrying and how they're feeling and what they're going to project to us.
hmm
Um, so what we have to learn is how to protect our energy and understanding that using, for me, can you just re-say the question? I've got menopause brain. Just
Which a lot of the audience is so going to relate to, of course, right?
just
Yeah, so
completely.
yeah, that's fine. We're talking about so protecting your energy. So
Yep,
describing that, and let me just, I guess, throw something in here
yep,
which might help, because there's two sides to this, I think. There's the energy that we bring with us.
yep,
So, being mindful of, well, when I walk into a room, for example, I want to bring the best of me. I
yep,
don't want to walk into a room with my shoulders down and a frown on my face and people go, oh my goodness, what's wrong with her? I
yep,
would prefer to bring a happy, joyful energy. So I'm responsible for my energy,
yep,
but people who perhaps aren't so aware that they are made up of energy, and
yep.
how they project it, and I loved that word that you use, that they're projecting it. How can we actually, how would we describe, ouch, protecting our energy,
Yep.
so that we don't necessarily take on what that other person is projecting?
Okay, yep, thank you. So for me, as you know, I'm a big believer and lover of creating a morning routine. So
Yes.
setting ourselves up in the morning for our day. And the biggest part of that is protecting my energy.
Yes.
How do I do that? Well, it's a visual thing and it's a really connecting with my physical body as well.
hmm
So understanding that I create a boundary around myself
hmm
is firstly what I do. Okay. I create a bubble for myself that the bubble that I'm in feels good, is safe. I'm going to have the best day and I'm going to be the best version of myself.
Mm,
So for me, visualization is really important in protecting my energy because what we're doing is then we're setting off all of those senses within us, our mind, as you know, which then creates a physical thing as well, which then creates what we're projecting
Mm.
out. So it's the mind, the body, and then the energy. So by creating that bubble around us in the morning, that safety bubble, I visualize that nothing is coming, anything coming towards that bubble, if it doesn't feel good, sound good, or look good, it stays out there.
Yeah. So it's
It
almost like it
basically,
bounces off the bubble.
it basically disintegrates
Yeah.
or bounces back off. It is not infiltrating into my bubble. I
Mm.
make that bubble so strong, I believe in it. I set that intention that it works.
Yeah. And the result for this, I imagine, is that if you are around people, now these might be people that you're used to being around that are in your life quite a bit, or it could even, we walk into a supermarket or a shopping center or a
Yeah.
doctor's office, and there's a lot of stuff going on in people's lives, and we are susceptible to actually taking on that energy from other people. So I guess a way to explain this to people, to take that example further from before is if you're often feeling drained and like you haven't got a lot of energy, you might be feeling a bit blue, and there's no particular reason there's nothing going on in your life perhaps that is making you think, yeah, this is where this is coming
Yeah.
from.
Yeah.
That may actually be what's happening, isn't it? Your energy might be being drained by other people because you don't have any kind of
Yeah.
protections in place.
100% that's what's happening.
Yeah.
Sometimes, or a big percentage of us not feeling good can be is other people's stuff,
Mm,
other people's energies that have infiltrated into your own, that then you're feeling their energy. You don't
mm,
know why you're feeling it because, like you said, everything's, you don't really have anything that should be activating that for you.
mm.
Because you don't consistently protect your energy on a daily basis, you'll just be starting to take on all of these other people's energies, which will then affect yours, which will lower your vibration, which will make you feel crap.
Yeah. 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 And I think
And
oh, go ahead.
sorry, and one thing I just want to highlight,
Yeah.
doctors, clinics, hospitals
Mm,
are the worst places to have your energy drained because it's full of sick
mm.
people.
Yeah.
We understand that. It's not that it's their fault.
No.
It's because you're in a place where the vibration is so low on a massive scale that the minute I walk into something like that, I start yawning because that's my body telling me I'm trying to release that energy from me because it's too overwhelming for my energy
Mm.
field. And
Yes.
it's a protective field that is telling me, clear it. We need to clear this.
Yeah.
It's like a bombardment of this frequency that's so dense.
Yes.
In the supermarket, I'm
Yeah.
so aware now because I do not like going into the supermarket because it's just too many people, too much energy in there.
Mm.
Right?
And I think the important thing to just mention here is this is not about blaming other people,
No,
not about saying that, don't be around other people
no,
or anything like
no,
that. That this is
not
not
at
what we're
all.
saying at all. And I think the conversation can often go to a point where it's like, well, hang on, if I'm taking other people's energies or if it's affecting me, doesn't that just make me an empath? But there is a difference between an empath and simply people who take or where other people's energy affects us.
Yeah,
Empathy obviously is a genuine thing. I think one of the questions that came up, I'm thinking some listeners might be wondering if I create these protections around me so that I'm able to visualize myself in this bubble so that other people's energy doesn't affect me in a negative way, does that mean I won't be a compassionate, caring, kind person? Will I just not care about things?
no, that's not it at all. What it is you are more aware. and you're more in tune with yourself to create these boundaries around yourself. So you can still be that loving, that empathetic, but also understanding there's kind of a line there. You don't have to take on that other person's energy. If
Mm,
you're
mm,
if you're not aware, that's I think what I feel in my thoughts, what an empath does, takes it in, feels it, like, it starts to become a part of them as well.
mm,
But what needs to be done is just having an awareness going, okay, this is not my stuff to take on, but I'm definitely here to hold some space, to listen, to be empathetic, to guide and support, to love, but not to take that on. And that is a tricky thing, but it
yeah.
takes practice. It takes awareness each time. It's not something that just happens. You
Mm,
have to start to understand what's going on in relationships, what kind of, you know, when you're around certain people, what don't you feel good? Like, what doesn't feel good for you? And it, like you said, doesn't mean that they're bad people. It doesn't mean that you don't see them. Or
mm,
maybe it is, but if it's not, okay, then what can you do to kind of create a different feeling around that friendship or that relationship? And there
mm,
are lots of things, there is, like we said, creating that bubble. There
mhm,
is cleansing yourself. There
mhm,
is tapping into tools like crystals. There are protective crystals. They have an energy in themselves.
mm.
It's a lot of mindful work.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, there are things to do, but you can still be that kind and loving and empathetic person.
Yeah. In fact, I think almost it allows you to be more of that person, doesn't it? You know, we I don't well, I'm going to speak on behalf of everyone else, but this is for me especially. I want to bring the best of myself to the relationships in my life, and I don't always do that. I'm human also.
Oh, myself as well. Yep.
Exactly. But my goal is to certainly bring 100% of myself,
Yep.
to bring the best of myself, to be that kind, compassionate, empathetic person. I can't do that if I've got other energies at work. And so I guess this is where that protection comes in
Yep.
to play. But you're right. We've said this word a few times, and it's one of my favorite words, awareness. It's about
Yeah.
being aware of this, and that's why we're making
Mhm.
this podcast.
Yeah.
So for some of those people who perhaps they are feeling emotionally fried, they might be pulled in a lot of different directions because we all have a lot on our plate these
Yeah.
days, whether that, that is our choice
Yes.
most of the time.
Yep.
What would be the first step? So you've talked about some of these tools, you have talked about creating a morning routine. Maybe you could just go into a little bit more detail about one or two other things that people could do that they don't need to do a course for, they don't need to spend a lot of money or a lot of time, but that could just start them on this journey.
Yeah. So I guess the most simplest thing, besides coming to see me,
Of
obviously,
course, which is
um,
highly recommended.
or a well-established energy healer, okay, it is important that a lot of the time, depending on what people are dealing with, if it's a lot of old stuff, they really do need to see someone to start to break that down because it can be very difficult for them to even start.
Yeah.
But saying that, one thing that is really important is your intention. Okay. If you don't like what's happening in your world, if you don't like the way you are feeling, firstly, it's understanding or trying to maybe pinpoint what is it that you don't like?
Mm-hmm.
What's happening? Who's it coming from? What's the situation?
Mm-hmm.
So identifying is the first thing.
Yeah.
Okay. The next thing is if you just want to get started, what I recommend is setting your intention every morning. How do you want to feel? Okay, so you don't feel good today because maybe um, you're not feeling good within, with your partner. There's been some disconnect, which I'm hearing a lot at the moment. There's a disconnect, okay, with say um, partners. So you're feeling quite, I don't know, maybe not seen,
Mm-hmm.
but you want to feel seen. But the first thing to do is we've got to work on ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
okay? Because like we know, we can't control other people,
That's
but
right.
what we can control is ourselves. So regardless of what's happening, say today I'm in that situation, well, I just want to feel, I want to feel happy, okay? Even though my situation's not happy, I want to start to feel happy.
Mm-hmm.
So what does that mean for me? Well, what I would suggest is in the morning when you wake up, you've got to start to change that thought pattern,
Mm-hmm.
as you know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So thinking about firstly, what does happiness look like?
Yes.
And it will be different for everyone.
Yes.
Okay. But closing your eyes and again, bringing a visual in, what does happiness look like for me?
Mm-hmm.
So whatever comes to your mind, you don't force what you think it should be.
Mm.
Just what does happiness look like for you?
Yeah. When were some moments that you
Yeah,
felt happy and
yeah.
bring them back to mind even?
And if you've never felt happy before, what can that look like?
Yeah. What do you want it to look like?
Mm. You
Yeah.
know? So that's the first thing. The second thing is how does that feel?
Mm-hmm.
What does happiness feel like? Again, like you said, if you felt it before, bring that visual, feel it.
Mm.
Try and tap into that time where you felt happy.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's going to be different. There's
Yes.
no wrong way. Remember, this is what people sometimes get confused. There is no wrong way. Whatever way you connect with that is the right way for you in that moment.
Mm.
And then the third thing is I like to bring in a color. So
Mm-hmm.
I love bringing in color visualization. So when we think about happiness, what color comes to my mind? For me, normally it's yellow because the
Yes.
bright is an energetic, that's right, background. Yellow. So visualize that color and start to spread that color through your body.
Mm-hmm.
Because what that color is doing is it's connected to the emotion of the happiness, the thought of feeling happy and being happy. So not only is it starting to change your mindset, rewiring it,
Mm-hmm.
it is creating that energy which is shifting within you, which is also projecting out.
Mm.
So then what we're doing is we're attracting that happiness. We're giving ourselves more of a chance of being happy in that day
Mm-hmm.
than if we just woke up
Mm.
and it was like, I
Just
don't
went
feel.
about things. Yeah.
Because
I
there's no way you're going to feel that if you haven't done any work on trying to shift that in the morning.
That's right. And I love what you're doing there with anchoring, because what you're doing is anchoring that color
Yeah,
to that what does happy look like for me? What does it sound like? What does it feel like? And you're anchoring that color. So what that means, of course, then anytime you see that color,
bingo.
it's going to bring back that
That's
happiness.
right.
Oh, I know how to feel. That's the brain at work, that's the body at
Yeah,
work going, I know how to feel. I know
yeah,
what happiness feels like. So we can actually even do things like, for those watching this as a video rather than just an audio, you can see I've got yellow in
yeah,
the
yeah,
background. So if yellow is anchored in as happy for me, every time I walk into my office,
yeah. That's right. Boom.
yeah,
And that's the beautiful thing. And it starts to work on your subconscious.
yes,
It anchors in there like a bit of a hypnotic tool,
exactly.
and I recommend to, people that come and see me or, put on your screensaver the color yellow, if that's the color.
Yes.
Put the posters. start to put little reminders around yourself. So every time you're in a space, you're also subconsciously reminded, which then triggers that energy, which is what we're creating. We're
Yeah.
shifting, we're trying to shift that energy.
Yeah. I think that our regular listeners are going to you can hear there's so many similarities in what we do. That's why I love working
Yeah,
with you is because
yeah,
you get me, I get you, like we speak each other's language. There's so many similarities here. Um People that have listened before, they've heard me talking about visualization. I often talk about the example of the athletic team, the Olympic athletic team, who used visualization. They did an experiment. Some trained more, some visualized more. And the ones who visualized the most and trained the least won the most medals.
yeah,
So
yeah,
again, I love that you're talking about this because it is another example. It's cementing in how important and how impactful visualization is. We're not just saying, oh, just visualize yourself living your best life and it will happen. Obviously, there are steps to take
yeah,
to do that, but it's the first place to start. And if we want to change our state, if we want to, set that intention in the morning to change the way that we feel, then this is the simplest way to get started, isn't it?
yeah. And can I just add,
Yeah.
I've had people say to me, I can't visualize.
Oh, yeah, I'm glad that you brought that
So
up.
I
That
want to bring
resonates
that
too.
up because um, every time someone has said that to me, I've proven them wrong for themselves.
Yep.
Okay. And
Okay.
I get that often sometimes, when they're laying on this beautiful healing bed of mine, or even if it's via Zoom, Irene, I can't visualize. Okay. So I say to them, all right, so if you just close your eyes, I say to them, and visualize, say, the sun. So what color is that for you? Oh, well, it's yellow. So can you see the sun in your foresight there?
Mhm.
I can. Well, you've just visualized it.
Yes. So you can
Sometimes
actually do
people
this.
have they're not sure what visualization means. It can mean that you're looking at a screen
Hmm.
with what you're bringing in. It
So
doesn't
we could
mean
look
that
at
you
a
have
picture.
to visualize yourself as a yellow being.
Hmm.
You might be projecting um, yourself on a cinema screen.
Hmm.
You're sitting back, you're looking at it. And that's a really good way also that helps people visualize is if they're like with their eyes closed, they're looking at themselves like they're in a cinema.
Hmm.
They're looking at a screen
Yeah.
and they can see the color yellow there, or the sun, or a color palette with a circle of yellow.
Hmm.
There's different ways you can find how to visualize, but that's a really good way is projecting that image
Mm.
in front of you.
Yeah. No, I love that you brought that up because I've actually heard that a couple of times recently as well. And like you say, we if we don't believe that we can do something, then we're not going to be able to do it,
Yeah.
right? If we believe we can, then it's possible. If we believe we can't, then it is not possible. We we can all visualize because I think well, I'm yet to be proven wrong on this, but
Yeah.
everybody
Me too.
has likely had the experience where they can close their eyes. And if I said, remember that time where you went on that holiday to
Yep.
wherever it was, and something comes into their mind, it's very, well, it's never, in my experience, a blank screen. So that is just that proof. It's like when somebody says, I can't be hypnotized.
Yeah.
And I might suggest to them, have you ever daydreamed or lost track of thought or arrived at work and thought, oh my goodness, I don't even remember driving here?
All the time. Yeah.
That is your mind in a trance
Yeah.
state. And that is what hypnosis is all
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
So for those people, if anybody's saying I can't visualize or I can't feel energy or can't protect myself from other energies, it's about asking some deeper questions. But like you said, that is where it's important to seek help. None of us can do everything on our own.
No.
I don't do this energy work on my own. I come and see you, right? Because you're the expert as far as I'm concerned in my life who can help me do this. We all need a little bit of a helping hand
Yeah.
from time to time. So
Yeah.
perhaps you can just share with people listening what could they expect if they come and see you? Where might you begin? For somebody who's either never experienced energy healing or Reiki, or maybe is even a little bit skeptical
Yeah.
about it, what could they expect?
There are lots of skeptical people out there.
Yes, I used to be one of them.
Yeah, yeah, and what a shame,
I've come around.
Yes, thank God. If you're starting out, the one thing all you need to do is to just be open. You don't have to know much about it. You, as long as you're open to the experience, then you're going to receive exactly what you're meant to. Okay. Coming to see me, what we do is we have a chat first and just, I guess I let you speak about if there's anything that's bothering you or that you can't work, move through yourself. And we just go through that process and then really identifying at the core level of the emotion of what that is,
Mhm.
you know, because a lot of the time is when we work on that emotion, we start to clear not only probably what they've come in with, but history.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, and then I very gently, I guess, guide you into a nice relaxation and then speak about some of the things that I want you to visualize to start clearing. Because for me, what I've worked out in the last few years, it's so much more powerful for my client and myself to be working on the same thing.
Mm.
So what I like to do is at the beginning part is talk a little bit about what we're shifting,
Mhm.
getting them to visualize what that is, how they see it in that moment, and working on clearing it themselves along with me.
Yeah.
And that's where I found the results have been even more powerful for them
Yeah.
and help them clear things sooner, quicker.
Yes.
Um, so, every session is different. You can feel very energized and elevated after, or you can feel a bit flat and heavy and maybe emotional. And that's okay because what's happening is we're working on so many different layers of energy that it's disrupting it all.
Mm.
So you're going to feel whatever's probably more prominent at that time.
Yeah, I think that's a really important point to make. You don't always leave feeling
No.
energized, joyful. There have been times where I have needed to go home and sleep, or I've felt a bit. What I've come to learn, not only through what you've taught me, but of course through my own work as well, is I actually get excited with that because that to me is growth. If we stay the same, if we feel the same way all the time, then we become stagnant. So you talk about
Yeah.
stagnant energy,
Yeah.
and that is not growth. So when I feel uncomfortable or a bit heavy,
Yeah.
I know that something is about to shift and it's always a positive way because
Yeah.
growth for me is positive.
Yeah. And it's never negative, like as in, even if something happens to you after that feels negative, like maybe something's been brought up, an emotion, a thought, or you've had maybe an interaction with someone, remember it's meant to happen. It is
Mm.
getting you to look at something that you need to look at.
Yeah, helping give
So
them that awareness.
that's what I love because you come to me to be different and feel different. So
Yes.
I'm going to shake things up for you. I'm a clearer. I
Yes.
am a clearer. If you come here, be prepared to start your clearing.
Well, emotions don't go away by ignoring them, do they?
No,
We
no.
know that. And in fact, we actually know also that if emotions are ignored and left to stagnate in the body, they can create disease, right? So
Absolutely true. Yeah.
if we have ailments or chronic pain or all sorts of things, what we need to look at is what's really going on. What is the root cause? That could be a whole other podcast, couldn't it?
I know, right?
Podcast topic. But so this is why an ignored emotion doesn't make it go away. So yes, if you've never done anything like this before, or even if you have done a little bit, but you're perhaps quite new to it, you likely will feel things stirred up a bit, but that is the most important part because you help people release this.
Yeah.
And when we release it, it allows us to bring other things in, doesn't it? More positive
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. And, I'll just add one session is not going to be your magic session that's going to fix everything. Occasionally, let me just say, it has happened.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's an anomaly.
Yep.
But in most instances, it is the consistent work in shifting and clearing.
Yeah.
And then it can space out for months and months after,
Yeah.
and maybe, and people maybe come back to me twice a year for just a tune-up.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Or I don't see people for a few years and they come back because something's happened and then they need to work on shifting it. Great. If I don't see you because you feel good, that's my job done.
Right. Yeah.
I'm really happy. I'm happy to hear that. I
Yeah.
don't want you coming back. I want you to find a way to live your best life. That's what
Yeah.
I'm here for.
I always say that, even when I used to work in a different industry, I've always said my ultimate goal is to be out of a job,
Yeah.
right? Because that means that people are happy, they're energized, they have direction, they know who they are, they're confident, all of these things.
Yeah.
Because if we have all of those things, then what why do we need people like us?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
That's right.
even when we're feeling our best, it's like, okay, well, how do we maintain this? Or what is the next level for
Yeah.
us? So I totally hear what you're saying there. Perhaps you can just very briefly give us some examples of what results your clients might see when they work with you consistently.
Okay. So, off the top of my head, what I see a lot is they become more clear. So they have a lot more clarity.
Mhm.
Things start to open up that they can see clearer.
Opportunities and things like
Yes.
that. Yeah.
Yes, opportunities come. They're more aware of, they can see the signs, feel the signs, understand the signs. They start to feel more empowered,
Mm.
stronger, less fear. We've got
Yes.
to get rid of that fear.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing in itself I can talk about,
Yeah.
right? Um, I've seen a few beautiful clients start their own businesses in the last couple of years because of this, just really aligning them
Yeah.
in the truest path,
Yeah.
feeling so fulfilled, um, overcoming, sexual abuse and trauma. I've got some amazing clients that I've worked with that um, have chosen to heal themselves through,
Mm.
through this. And they've done amazing work,
Mm.
Um, and my beautiful voice message I received this morning, which brought me to tears, literally. Um, a client that I've worked with for a couple of years, and I won't, I haven't worked with her every month, but I've worked with her, a few times in the year for the last few years.
Mhm.
She suffered childhood abuse.
Mhm.
Um, her words of "you saved my soul." That was, I know, I'm gonna, like, I feel like I want to cry. Just hearing that was just, I've got nothing to say.
Yeah.
Like that was just, I said to God, the universe, well, I've done everything I've meant to do, even from just that one person, it's just, yeah, it's just been extraordinary,
Yeah.
what people have achieved for themselves by working with me. I'm just there to guide them and support them and channel that energy to help clear that pathway for them to do what they need to do to live their most fulfilled life that they can.
Beautiful words, Irene. And I think that sums everything up so beautifully, that last sentence of yours. And I imagine there's a lot of people now listening who are like, I need this. I want this. How do and and get in line. I'm coming to see you in a few days' time, and I can't wait. How do people get in touch with you and start the journey?
Yeah, so they can contact me through my Instagram page, Irene McGrath, Free Your Spirit, through my LinkedIn, the same, Irene McGrath, my website, Irene McGrath, Free Your Spirit. So it's very easy to find me. I'm pretty much, you type either, you'll find me there, even through you if they want to contact you, Beck. I'm there, I'm accessible.
Yes.
And just have to, and I'm happy to even just have a free, 15-minute little chat. I love my video chats, as you
Yes,
know.
that's
So
right. You are in person and on video, aren't you? Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I like to connect. I like to see you, you
Yeah.
know. So I offer that as well. Just a quick 15-minute, just to, see if they feel comfortable with me, if they feel like I'm the right fit. Again, you got to feel comfortable who you're seeing. That is the
Absolutely.
first step to your healing process.
Absolutely agree. Yes. And I will share all of your details, of course, in the show notes. You've been very generous in offering a discount to first timers. You can find that on the Moonbeam Monday website on our preferred partners page. So if you go in there and click on the link, just follow the instructions. So that's very generous. Thank you, Irene. Thank you so much for today. I've loved our chat. I love talking all things energy and healing, and it does make me so happy. So I'm looking at my yellow background for those
Yeah,
watching the
me
video can see that.
too.
And I am anchoring in joyfulness, I think. There's a lot of yellow around my room.
I
So
love
thank you
it.
for your time. We're very grateful. And hopefully, yeah, if you, well, not hopefully, if you want more information or if you want to find out more about how Irene can help you, please do get in touch with her.
Thank you, Beck.
You're
It's been an
welcome.
honor. I've loved our chat, always love our chat, and look forward to seeing you.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for listening to the Brain Changes podcast today, everyone. Remember, when you change your mind, you change your life. Bye for now. Thanks for listening to this episode of The Brain Changes. We hope you've enjoyed the conversation today. Please like and subscribe to stay up to date with all the latest episodes. Our mission is to reach as many people as possible to help them revolutionize the way they think so they can change their brain and create profound transformation. Please help us broaden our reach by sharing this episode with someone you know will benefit. And remember to tag us on socials at Moonbeam Monday and leave a review. And remember, when you change your mind, you change your life. We'll catch you next time for another episode of The Brain Changes.